Chapter 4 Friends. "Where are you going, Joe?" Meg asked one snowy afternoon as her sister came tramping through the hall in rubber boots and carrying a shovel. "Out for some exercise," Joe answered, with a twinkle in her eye. For in fact, she had other plans, too. She wanted to call upon Laurie. "That boy needs to go out and have some fun," she thought to herself as she put on her coat. "His grandfather keeps him shut up all the time when he needs to be around other young people." Joe had watched Laurie's grandfather drive away and figured it was the perfect time to call on him. She bundled up, then marched through the snow toward the Lawrence house. A garden and a low hedge separated the Marches' house from the Lawrences' house. The Lawrence house was a stately stone mansion with a big coach house and well-kept grounds. Joe shook her head when she saw Laurie through an upstairs window. "Poor boy," she muttered. Then she had a grand idea. She picked up a handful of snow, formed a snowball, and tossed it at the window. "Hello!" she cried out when she saw Laurie's surprised smile. "How are you?" "Better," Laurie replied. "I've been shut in with a cold for a week." "Would you like a nice girl to come over and amuse you?" Joe asked playfully. "Yes, please." Joe ran to tell her mother, then made her way to the entrance, presenting herself and a covered dish. "For Mother," she said with a smile. They sat in the big parlor, and Joe picked up a book. "Shall I read to you?" she asked. "Thank you, but I've read all those," Laurie answered. "I'd rather just talk." "I can talk all day," Joe said with a laugh. "Beth says I never know when to stop." "Is Beth the small one who stays at home a lot and sometimes goes out with a basket?" Laurie asked. Joe nodded. "The pretty one is Meg," Laurie went on, "and the curly-haired one is Amy." Joe was surprised Laurie knew her sisters' names. "I often hear you calling to one another," Laurie explained, "and I can't help looking over to your house. It's always so lively there. Everyone is so cheerful, and your mother seems sweet as well." "I haven't any mother, you know," he added sadly. Joe felt sorry for Laurie. "I just wish you'd come over and see us sometimes. Would your grandfather let you?" "I think he would, if your mother asked him," Laurie replied. "He's very kind, and he lets me do what I like, pretty much. Only he's afraid I might be a bother to strangers." "But we're not strangers," Joe told him. "We're neighbors. You wouldn't be a bother. We'd love for you to come." They talked some more, until Laurie mentioned his grandfather's library. Joe's ears perked up at once. "Come see it," Laurie said. Laurie led Joe to the library. It was better than Joe had ever imagined. The walls were lined with books, and there were pictures and portraits hanging everywhere, and cabinets full of coins and other interesting things. "What riches!" Joe sighed. Joe was staring at a portrait of Mr. Lawrence when the man himself walked up behind her. "What have you been doing to this boy of mine?" he asked in a gruff voice. Joe was startled at first, then saw the twinkle in the gentleman's eye and knew he wasn't angry. "Only trying to be neighborly, sir," she replied. "Laurie seems a little lonely." "That's very kind of you, Miss March. Now, please, won't you join us for some tea?" Mr. Lawrence drank his tea and watched the young people talk. He noticed a change in his grandson, a certain color and life to his face. "She's right," he thought to himself. "The lad is lonely." Before Joe left, Laurie showed her the drawing room and its grand piano. "Do you play?" Joe asked. "Sometimes," Laurie answered. "Please, play now," Joe pleaded, "so I can tell Beth about it." Laurie played and Joe listened, thinking of how much her younger sister would love to hear the piano. Before she left, Mr. Lawrence invited her to bring her sisters and mother over to visit any time. Back home, Joe told her family all about her visit to the Lawrence mansion. "We should all be good to him," Joe said, "because he doesn't have a mother. May he visit us too, Marmee?" Mrs. March smiled a warm smile. "Yes, Joe, your friend is very welcome."